Welcome, and thank you for joining for another whiskey review. Today, we're going back to a distillery, but a long time, Dustin. The Oban Distillery. This time, the 15-year-old Cask strength, America-only release. North America? No, just America.
Exclusive American release.
Exclusive America. Dustin, what does that mean? Big ABV for starters, my friend.
And you know what else it means, Mike?
Give it to me.
750?
750.
They've gone all the 700s for all their other releases. This one, they give us a 750 again. My guess is, Mike, they had a bunch of extra 750s and wanted to get rid of them.
Yeah, found
and they're like,
bottles.
what are we going to do with it?
Gotta send them to America. America only. Limited edition. This one comes in at 55.3% ABV, and this is it's Oloroso, palo, cortado, cask finish. So I guess it's bourbon cask maturation.
So it's 11 years in refilled casks, so probably bourbon.
Yep.
And then 4 years, half of these were, they said half, I don't know if they actually meant it, but a split between Oloroso and palo cortado for the next 4. So pretty nice finishing here. Always when you hear finishing, you think those casks must have been really boring after 11 years. That said, Oban has done, I think, 2 or 3 recent special releases, Mike, and they've all been something like that. We haven't brought you guys any. I have one that's unopened actually at home, believe it or not, Mike. I have an unopened whiskey I've never opened. Yeah,
that's how that works, Dustin. All right. So, been a long time since I did one of these. Me and Billy did the Little Bay and the 14 a couple, but it's a story I've always liked.
Yeah.
You know, part of the class of Mulsa Scotland, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
They are part of the class. Yeah, they're Diageo. They're in that whole set. They're kind of by the sea. The claim is they are. A lot of people remember Oban as being slightly peated when they first have it, and then they come back and go, "There's absolutely no peat there."
It is, isn't it?
So they claim, like at least there's like the regular releases, there's so little peat in there that it should not be detectable by the human.
I was the 14 had a little bit of peat in it.
But we are whiskey reviewers, Mike. We're not normal humans.
All right, Dustin. I remember when this came up. You know, you let me know. I was like, "Where'd you get this?" You're like, "Ohio has it
all over the place.
$150. Let's get it." I'm like, "You got to be kidding me! 15 years old, cask strength Oban
with palo cortado casks.
Holy cow!
I mean, they're charging $130 for like an 11-year from the special releases, and they're putting it in a $700.
I know, buddy. As soon as I saw this, I was like, "Wow! I'm going to buy 7 other bottles." But that sounds like a good deal.
Yeah, I was like, "All right, let me get it," and then I tried it. And let me tell you, guys, I think it's worth picking up. But let's tell you about why it's worth picking up.
Woo! This is dirty sherry smoke, boy.
Big,
I like
rich, dirty.
Oh, man, that palo cortado. I recognize that smoke from the Springbank Ted.
It's vegetal, and yet it's earthy.
Very earthy. I don't know if it's tar or hate, but man, it's something just dark and dirty.
It's almost like a dirty cinnamon Tootsie Roll, kind of like funkiness going on.
Burnt cinnamon, yeah. It almost comes off like a couple of the raw casks I've had. Something like the Isla raw cask, 10-year-old. It reminds me a little bit of that.
I am getting a little bit of green apple, though, as I'm digging in. And it's like a slightly sour green apple, which has got to be coming from palo cortado. I can't imagine where else it's coming from.
Boy, that is a chalky, dirty sherry.
Yeah, this has opened up nicely. I hit this thing. I hit this thing nice and hard the first 2 nights I had it, and then I haven't touched it in a couple weeks.
Man, if you like dirty smoke, dirty sherry.
I think one night I had 4 glasses of this poured, Mike, with different amounts of water in each one, because this is an interesting whiskey. We'll talk about it with water here in a second.
Buddy, I'm really gravitating towards this.
This is just really good. You don't expect this much sherry at 4 years. And if you get this much sherry at 4 years, you expect an over-the-top oak note to come through, because generally in order to get a whiskey really heavily sherried in 4 years, they generally like to use over-the-top oaky, maybe some charred oak or something. This doesn't do that at all. It smells beautifully clean in terms of the sherry quality. In other words, the oak isn't sneaking in, to Mike's point. Dirty sherry, yes.
Dustin?
But no
barrel. This had to be a first or a very lightly used cask for these wine cask finishes.
Oh, these had to have been first fill. For sure. 4 years in first fill. It's got to be.
It's almost smelling brown. It's the first time I said that ever, I think, that color. Dirty chalky sherry.
But again,
a little bit of tar.
It's dirty, but I don't get that heavy oak note. You know what I mean?
No, it's light on the oak. And you're right; those usually do go hand in hand.
Yeah, usually when you get this kind of dirtiness, and I think it's the combination of palo cortado and Oloroso, the way they're playing together. And again, I think they're using first fill of both, which I don't think you usually see. It's like a refill Oloroso and first fill Palo Cortada. It's never both being first fill. I think this is both first fill.
Okay, now I'm getting past that Palo Cortado a little bit to where I can get to some of the Oloroso. A little bit of dark chocolate there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a little bit of figs and prunes in there. Not quite raisin brightness. It's weird to say raisin brightness, but raisin is the brighter of those.
Yes. Yeah, everything's dark.
Have you gotten that slight little green apple note yet?
I haven't yet,
Okay.
but we got time. We got time.
We'll put water on there. It might come out a little bit more, I think.
The Oloroso sherry is getting a little bit bubblegum, getting a little bit chocolate bubblegum.
Okay.
That Palo Cortado is really doing the work, though, man. It's doing the heavy lifting.
And you're right. The Oloroso is coming out now. The more it sits in the glass,
It's of the wine cast finishings. Compared to like say PX or even Moscatel, Oloroso, if it's combined with a few of them, can get pushed around a little bit.
well, what it's doing for the whiskey a lot though here, Mike, is the dryingness.
Sure.
Because the Palo Cortado is a little bit less drying. The Oloroso is definitely creating this very dry, dusty.
I think it's working with the chalky note too.
Yes, absolutely. Now, one thing I will note, Mike, and I've gotten this on every special release from Diageo lately that wasn't super old or Lagavulin, and that is that especially the unpeated ones can be a little sharp, a little harsh out the gate, and that could also be some of that chalkiness. There's a little bit of alcohol astringency here.
Twins of raspberry, Dustin. Something red here.
Oh my god! As soon as you said that, I was like, "That is exactly what I'm getting." It's kind of like it's like vodka,
Raspberry.
vodka, yeah.
Yep. Again, I think the raspberry's Palo Cortado.
That could be the Oloroso, I think.
Could be. But maybe my guess is the Palo. I think the Oloroso's kind of putting a little bit of a dark chocolate dusting on top of that raspberry. But then someone stepped on it. Like it's definitely on the bottom of my shoe. Dustin, this is an interesting nose, my friend.
Gonna dive right in.
Go for it. Yeah, I might have to pick this one up, man. $150 just on the smell alone. And the ABV, this is a good one. Oh,
this is drinking much better than last time I cracked it.
what are you picking up, man?
Oh. So first off, just a fruit explosion on the front with nice chocolate syrup. Alcohol is a little warming up front, and it bites a little bit when you swallow. Slightly alcohol forward, but buddy, that is Oban at its best. Like you're always worried you're gonna lose the Oban, but Oban is just this very interesting malt. Has a little bit of saltiness to it. It's fruity without being too fruity. It's a very balanced, easy drinking malt, and it's still all there. That taste, all of a sudden, that chocolate fruitiness come through. Long linger, the sherry coming at you. And Oban is a slightly boring malt on the finish sometimes, and that is kind of the one negative right now. Is the finish has a nice linger from the cask, but doesn't linger from the malt. There's also this just slight dirty note in there that is really saving this whiskey from being a little too one-dimensional, and we'll talk about that after we put water in there, Mike, and get your thoughts on it.
Dirty Dutch chocolate. I've been to Amsterdam a few times. Dirty Dutch chocolate that goes hand in hand with some nice fruits. I get the apples now. I don't necessarily say agree, but some type of an apple. But man, that chalky, dirty chocolate note is just excellent. It feels like there's a twinge of smoke or a twinge of barrel smoke, just a wisp of it kind of here at the end. Man, then here it just comes back. Yeah, I'm not getting a ton of smoke, just a wisp. But man, to me, the chocolate and the dirt is the show, and here come the raspberries again. It's like a raspberry chocolate bar.
Get a little cran apple now on the nose as well.
I could get that. And then just at the end, a little bit of that Blackadder raw cask Isla chip at the end.
Yeah. Get the water there.
Yeah, give me some. Man, I tell you what, that is interesting. Dirty, aggressive, Dustin. Not for the faint of heart. It is a little bit alcohol forward. You're right. Initially, when you put it on the palate, and there were more fruits kind of when you were holding on the palate. But as soon as you swallow, man, that chocolate is the show. That Palo Cortado chocolate and raspberry. Oh,
Yeah, the one thing I didn't like was the alcohol kind of kicked in right there when I was starting to get some nice flavors. I was like, oh man, you kind of distracted me.
It's right here on the side. Just drizzle raspberry and just chocolate. You know, it's almost like fudge on a banana split too, like nuts and fudge from a banana split. If the banana split was on the ground.
Yeah. Now with water, Mike, the candies have really popped out.
All right, what we got? Got a little bit of red hot here.
I'm not getting that. I guess I can kind of see what you're talking about.
Red hot and Skittles mixed together. It's a handful of them.
But it's becoming more candied. The sherry's coming more dominant, but in a much more like fruity way. Chocolate's been pushed a little to the side.
Chocolate's melting, but I still think the chocolate's pretty substantial.
It just pushed a little to the side.
Sure.
I'm getting like a little bit of like clay, but like candy clay funk, if that makes any sense. Three Musketeer bar nougat.
Hot fudge on the chocolate covered raspberries. Sprinkled with a nut. A couple like little like peanut chips. Not the shell or anything, just the actual bland peanut.
Inside of a gobstopper's coming through now. Yeah, that's what I mean, guys. The inside of a gobstopper, that sour inside.
With a little bit of bubblegum wrapper.
I can see that.
A little bit of sugar. Not going quite to wax, but a little paper.
It's definitely got that powdered sugar paper thing, yeah.
I tell you what, the water definitely made it even more interesting on the nose.
Yeah. And now, once again, I'm getting that little bit of green apple.
To me, the raspberry is just so predominant.
I get that too. You're right. It's when I get the slight sour hinge or twinge. That's not where I start thinking green apple. Yeah. I know raspberry sour too, but it's a green apple sour feel. It's not raspberry sour.
I mean, twinge just salt and cinnamon mix, but it's like 80% salt, 20% cinnamon.
All right, I'm going in for another taste here, Mike. Now we got water.
Yeah, I mean, on the nose, this handled water so well. But again, we start out a good ABV. 55.3 is solid, real solid.
So now, Mike, there it is. I'm starting to get a little bit more oak. I'm starting to get that 15 years. And now it's starting to make me almost reminiscent of like a Springbank 15 a little bit. Where I'm getting that nice, heavy sherry. This is more of a refilled Springbank 15 than some of the really intense dark ones. And I'm getting, again, this element on the finish. I don't know if it's like a chocolate note from the Oloroso, if it's a slight peat note, if it's a char note from the barrel. But it gives me this change of pace that reminds me again of something like a Springbank would have. And what it really kind of is making me kind of lean towards is thinking that there is just a little peat on this that's coming through, and it's really giving it a nice balance.
With water, as soon as you swallow, it gives you a sour hug. It's sour in the best way. It's tart and it gives you a hug and it just melts away as soon as you let it go down. Wow.
Yeah, before it was, like I said, now it's like almost like a sour green apple thing.
Now lemon's here?
With lemon, yeah.
Man, this is that backbone of dark, dirty chocolate. Dark, dirty powdered chocolate.
Have you noticed the oak levels come up a little bit?
Yeah.
Not heavy, but it's got a nice addition.
Yeah, okay, so we were looking at a little bit of wood smoke, like a wisp of wood smoke. That is more than a wisp now. And you're right, I don't know if it's a little bit of peat or if it's just 15 years and the cask, imparted enough of an oak smoke or an oak wisp to intensify.
I've never gotten anything like this that didn't have a little peat. This, to me, really comes off like there's a slight peat note.
I agree.
But no, the oak, it's actually a really rich, nice oak. I mean, again, it's not as oaky as the Springbank 15. And I know that because I poured some of this next to the Springbank 15. I did a lot of experimenting with this in the 2 nights I drank with it. Because I was like, it definitely gave me those notes, or even gave me a little bit of Hazelburn Oloroso initially. And so I didn't actually crack a Hazelburn for this, but I did try with the Springbank, and it's definitely not as oaky, but it's got that little bit of smoke. It's got a little bit of like the Kilkerran heavily peated batch 9 citrus notes that we talked about.
Yeah, the citrus notes definitely is more easily detectable now with water. And almost like beach sand. A little bit of warm beach sand.
The funny thing is, I keep trying to think of something like in the Diageo portfolio or in the Highlands or Speyside to compare this to, and I keep coming back to Campbelltown because I'm just not getting like this isn't Balvenie, this isn't Macallan, this isn't Dalwhinnie. I mean, it's just its own thing.
Maybe a little bit of Glen Scotia with not quite as high of fruits and a little bit harder, a little bit more chocolate, something like that.
Again, it keeps taking me back to something a little more Campbelltown-like, which I love.
Very impressive Oban. I've always liked Obans and never been blown away by any of them.
Yeah.
This was one of my...
That's why I've got a special release at home I haven't cracked.
This is a good one.
I tried a sample of it, and I said, I like it enough not to sell this, but not enough to drink it. This one, I like enough to drink. Mm-hmm. Excellent whiskey. The one thing I will say is, again, there's not quite the depth and layers and transitions maybe you're looking for in a really high-end whiskey, but God, otherwise it's just got a little everything here.
Yeah, it's a really good whiskey, especially for the price. What was this, $150 plus tax in Ohio? Solid.
I've heard of some people finding it for $125.
Great buy at that.
At that price, I mean, it's just crazy not to get it.
Right. And again, we don't do a lot of Obans. I mean, I haven't done Oban in years, but I don't even have an Oban.
No. I don't have one open.
No.
Oh, I might have one of the Game of Thrones ones open.
Oh.
For one reason. It was really boring.
All right, Dustin, whiskey score time. Your bottle, so I'll go first. I really like this whiskey, and I'm probably rating it a point higher than what it really is, just because I enjoy it. 89 out of 100.
I am right there with you, Mike. It's an 87, 88 whiskey, but when you give it that cask strength effect and add that flavor,
like
and then
whiskey.
you give it that little bit of peaty note, which I think's peat, it bumps it up to that 89. And the reason why I say it's maybe an 87, 88 is because it is a little sharp on the alcohol. It
is. Yep.
It's a little stingy.
Even for 15 years, you figure it'd be a little more
Yes,
refined.
yes. You expect that little bit more refinement.
Comes off younger.
But when you add water, you really clean it up. So I guess I'd prefer them give us this cask strength, and it needs a drop of water.
Heck yeah.
Versus give it to us at 51%, and then we never get to experience it.
All day, every day, Dustin.
So can't complain. The way it's presentation, I don't know if that's natural color or not, guys. It doesn't say anywhere on here. So I guess we have to not trust Diageo.
Heck no.
But I will say that the color doesn't look ridiculous.
Doesn't look ridiculous, and sometimes the special releases, Diageo does do natural color.
Yeah.
But who knows? Who knows, Dustin? All right. Those are our thoughts this particular... this is a 2024 release, right? Or is it 2025?
It just showed up.
It
I
just
don't
showed
know
up
when they
in
bottled it. So, but
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned, it's a 25 release. But because it just showed up in the U.S.
Just showed up, yeah.
It's not like Springbank where we know like it could have been a year ago when they got it in the UK.
We saw it
before we see it.
You saw it on the shelves, and I looked up like, never heard of it. Let's drink.
I knew this was coming, and this has been one of those whiskeys. Probably the whiskey I was most excited about this year, just because we never get U.S. special releases.
Never.
And the fact that it came in at $7.50, you get a free ounce.
That's why. That's why. That's got to be why. Anyway, those are our thoughts on this particular whiskey. You guys had a chance to try this new Oban 15-year-old cask strength. We'd love to know what you guys think. Dustin, until next time, what do we wish the folks?
Happy American drinking.
See you next time.